So that was the problem with Morsi. It was not, frankly, that he was a good president or a bad president in terms of efficiency. If that was the case, we would have waited 3-4 years. The problem was he wanted to govern as only one political trend in Egypt and wanted to change the face of Egypt in that sense.
What we're seeing all over the Middle East, that the liberals, the moderates, the people who wear ties, the people who know about civil rights, the people who talk about democracy, they brought people into the streets when this first started. But they're horrible organizers of political parties. They have no experience. They don't know how to talk to the masses.
Morsi was elected through a democratic process. He did not, however, govern democratically. The essence of democracy is inclusiveness. You need to include all the people to feel that they are nationals of the country, even if they are in the minority.
In the long run, maybe democracy, real democracy, the democracies that don't fight each other, democracies that take care of their own people, democracies that recognize that investing in the human capital of your people is more important than the demagoguery we're seeing in the streets of Egypt today. Maybe that will come to pass. And that's certainly our goal and certainly our hope.
I know Europe does not need me to remind them of democratically elected leaders who did not turn out to be Democrats. But I say this respectfully. We need to learn from our mistakes of our friends.
When anti-West, anti-peace, anti-Zionist, anti-American leaders emerge after moments of great hope and optimism, as we saw in Cairo, we will see.
The problem with the last time, with President Morsi's election, wasn't that he was a good or bad president. Every country has good or bad presidents. There were two problems. One, we did not develop a constitution that reflected the people of Egypt. It was done basically by Islamists. So we didn't have checks and balances in our system, where if you elect a good president, he uses the checks and balances to the utmost. If you elect a bad president, the checks and balances control him. The Salafis in Egypt are participating now in the political process. They've joined what we call the Committee of 50 to establish the constitution, and I hope and encourage them to participate in that process. I would urge the Brotherhood to do the same, because I think the Salafis, by joining, understand that if you want to participate in determining the future, you have to compromise with other Egyptians who have other points of view. President Morsi, without a good constitution, was trying to lead the country towards an Islamist face of Egypt. Islamists are part of Egypt, but they're not the complete face of Egypt. That was the problem. We need to find a place for Islamists in our system. But what I'm talking about are new Islamists, those who believe that they can pursue their goals, but they also respect that there are others, Egyptians as well, who have different opinions. Morsi was elected through a democratic process. He did not, however, govern democratically. The essence of democracy is inclusiveness. You need to include all the people to feel that they are nationals of the country, even if they are in the minority. Minority nationals, be they Egyptian or Russian, does not mean they are not Egyptian or Russian any longer. If we put together, and we will, put together a good constitution, it will not make a difference who you, let me be precise, it will make a difference who you elect, but it will not change the face of Egypt. If we put together a secularist candidate, a middle-of-the-road candidate, or even an Islamist candidate, he will be governed by the Constitution.
Is the purpose of your government to succeed in eradicating what we call political Islam and become an example for some other Arabic countries?
Yes and no, or yes with a caveat. Egypt's leading role in the Middle East is always based on its intellectual value added. It hasn't been based on money for a long period of time. We have been the source of arts, theater, intelligentsia, Not the only source, but the major source in that. And that's frankly how we can lead the region again. I very much agree with how you asked the question. We want to be a model. We will not promote our views and force them on others, but we want to lead by example.
My own view is that will be, at best, 10, 15 years down the road. And our great challenge is how to survive that period and how to help those countries pass through what I fear will be a dark moment of Islamist governance, or certainly Islamist influence, until maybe, just maybe, they emerge in a more enlightened way.